Camera's rolling.
Baby, I'm too young to know any better, but I guess I'm just too old to care. I'm waiting on the morning light to clear the air. Now the sky is hung with regret, letting go that you pay black. All the silence that keep me coming back. I'm the one that you hated. You know, the one you didn't want to believe. The one that you hated. Take a look at it now. I'm the one that you created. The one that you hated. Now the sky is hung with regret, letting go that you pay black. All the silence that keep me coming back. I'm the one that you hated. You know, the one you didn't want to believe. The one that you hated. Take a look at it now. I'm the one that you
Is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dad Talk Today. It is Monday morning. I hope you're having the start of a good week. I'm lying to you. It's actually Saturday. We're recording Monday's show today, but you don't need to know that because it's a brand new episode of Dad Talk. Anyway, many ways that you can support this show down there at the bottom. Dad Talk Today and Cash App, Venmo, Patreon. No spaces, just Dad Talk Today. Yes, get your Dad Talk Today gear. I'm still drinking on my coffee from earlier this morning in this beautiful Dad Talk Today cup that you can get on dadtalktoday.com if you go to our shop right now. Anyway, I feel like a freaking walking advertisement. So, and there's also subscriptions and super chats over there on YouTube. We got the same thing over on Facebook. But since I've already let the cat out of the bag about this, is actually still Saturday. We just finished up on a show. Man, for anybody that didn't see the episode that we had on here, a former U.S. Senate candidate, Sean Parnell, go check it out. Dwayne, that was a killer episode, brother.
It was amazing. I mean, you know, to hear a politician. I mean, again, we've had our conversations about politicians, the legislative,
and we didn't hold back telling him that either.
And we didn't, pull any punches there. But to hear a guy, and I think this is what it takes is to go through it. But he went from believing the establishment, believing that the courts are just and all that, and in a few short years has now learned all this information about Title 4D. I mean, again, to hear someone that high up to utter the words Title 4D and incentivizing and the court system and how it's unfair that with allegations you can be ripped from your home, and it's I'm gonna say it's refreshing, but it's refreshing to hear someone that is so involved politically see this and understand it from our point of view. I mean, we look at it as a Tuesday.
Oh, but, yeah. I mean, and not just that, dude. I mean, like, especially when you talk about the false allegations, I think we call them TPOs, restraining orders and stuff. I very commonly hear it called PFA up there in Pennsylvania. Yeah. But guys, we was this close to having that man in the U.S. Senate, and then they take a family law battle from 2017 and use it against him in 2022 and put out the smear articles on him to make him not be able to get in office. This guy was kicking their butts, and they needed something. It was their silver bullet, the same way they use it against you in family court. Yeah. They do it in politics, and he realizes that. He's learning a little bit more about the system now, but I can't tell Sean how much I appreciate, and he also let him know, man, dude, the whole time that was going on, me and him were talking on the phone. I was trying to be that listening ear, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I was saying, dude, tell people about it. This is what's going on, because I knew what was going to happen. They were messing with his family, dude. That had to be a very, very dark moment to be all over the media, knowing that now my kids are being drug into this mess. When it comes to the media and other politicians in the establishment, they don't care who they step on or what they use to get what they want, man. And these are the very people that a lot of us have been going to and asking them to give us some solutions behind this. But You know,
It's
Sean
crazy.
talked about something we never heard, Dwayne. We talked a little bit when we got off that show. He was talking about shared parenting being done on a federal level. And I was just salivating because I was saying, like, most of the time you got to go state by state, and just like states like New Hampshire, dude. You're talking about like 400 different politicians between the Senate and the House that you'd have to go to, and you got to have the majority to get a law passed, when we could go do this thing on a federal level and get this completely going. And I've also been talking to more people. You know, I've been a little bit of a critic of shared parenting lately, and it's not because I don't believe in 50-50. 100%, I want to see 50-50 happen. But if you do not have consequences for false allegations, and that becomes the way to get the control, I'm afraid if 50-50 goes in there without something that specifically states against these false allegations and consequences, we're going to see the false allegations just take off, and we won't know until it's too late. You know, it doesn't make the game go away. It changes how the game is played. But I've been talking to these people that's actually got it written into the legislation with the shared parenting consequences for false allegations if you use this in conjunction with the shared parenting. If we could get some stuff like that on the federal level, baby, don't tell me that the family courts couldn't change.
Oh yeah, it's just it's amazing, because the fact that we actually have to write into law that there are consequences for false allegations. We have this in every other area of law, but for some reason, family law is able to continually keep that from being in there. You know, in Sean's case specifically, they had already settled the alleged the PFAs, those the violence that occurred as patently untrue, and it was thrown out, expunged from his record and all that, and they were able to come back 3-4 years later in the family court system and retry it and have consequences. I mean, I looked through the documents on that, not just the news reports. All the news reported was that he was a child abuser. That's all they would say. And then he was Trump backed. He was a Trump backed candidate, and he was accused of violence. And when you actually read the court documents, that whole incident was a court found that it was false. Or not worthy, or not worth pursuing. So it got removed. It got removed from his record and all that, which, these things are handed out like butter. So to have that go, I mean, that opens up a few other things. But then 3-4 years later to come back and not only retry him, but find him guilty. I mean, that's double indemnity. That's a law. That we can't be tried for the same crime twice. And in family courts, it happens every single day.
Well, politics too, man. And I think there is an incentive more than ever for some of these politicians or the candidates that are wanting to do the right thing. If you find yourself going through these situations, don't hide from it. Come on, Dad Talk. Let them know, that the second they try to use that to break you, let it be what makes you, and stand up against the establishment that tries to use these tricks against you. Really quick, though, because we got about 30 minutes on today's episode. We've already spent about a third of it. There was a conversation that I wanted to have. The custody exchange murders, we're seeing them happen more and more. There is no shortage of the people that are in the comments and in the messages saying this is what's happened to one of my family members, my spouse, or my son. But one of the most common things that people bring up to me that need to happen in order to protect against this is that they need to do it at police stations, Dwayne. I've done my homework on this. I'm going to tell you, it is just not true.
It's the worst place.
It is the worst place. And so we got some reaction videos that we're going to be doing, and I'm going to pull these up really quick, and we're going to start off with this one right here. Let me pull that up right there. Get us down at the bottom of the screen. Let's watch this really quick, guys.
Our top story tonight at 6, new information about a deadly shooting during a custody exchange and the man accused of murder in the case. I'm Candace Stearns.
And I'm Leland Bender in for Bill tonight. Our Cameron Thompson is live to tell us what the victim's family says happened leading up to that murder. Cameron.
Yeah, and Leland, Candace, the family member, was telling us the victim in this case was also a guy who was very pure-hearted, and police identifying that victim as 33-year-old Stuart Jeffries of Richmond. Police say he was here at this Chesterfield police station on West 100 Road for a custody exchange of his daughter in the station's parking lot. Now, the mother arrived with another man, and the suspect was in this case. Now, After the exchange, police say that Jeffries and the suspect got into an altercation, and that's when Jeffries was shot. The suspect has been identified as 44-year-old Corey Goodson, also from Richmond. Neither the child nor the mother were hurt in all this. Now, an arrest was made quickly because there's actually an on-duty police officer in his car in the parking lot when this all went down. They were not facing the exchange and responded when they heard that gunshot. Now, family members of Jeffries talked to us today, said that he was a hardworking man that was very family-oriented and that his daughter was his pride and joy.
Tonight, a family is without him, and not only did his daughter lose him, she lost so much more than that. It's like a family is suffering. Family suffering on both ends, because even though this guy did whatever he did, his family is suffering as well as my family suffering. It's just a tragedy all the way around that could have been avoided. It should never have happened.
Goodson faces second-degree murder and use of a firearm charges, currently being held without bond.
All right, that is going to be it, man. So, I mean, here it is. We got an incident. We're told that I think people say the police station because they think there's this false sense of security there, but because it's at a police station, there's going to be policemen there. They get their guns on their side, that we're going to be safe. Nobody's going to do this at a police station. I'd say it's the same thing that went on in the John Mass case, where people thought, let's go do it in a grocery store parking lot because it's in a public place. They're not going to do it in front of people. When somebody's got it in their mind that this is what they're going to do, dude, they do it.
Yeah. Well, it hit all the elements, and you've talked about this in the past. So it was at a police station. The girl brought her boyfriend to the exchange. She brought somebody else to that, which is all going to overall increase the conflict. And, to a point you've made earlier, women generally don't do it themselves. They usually have someone else do it. In the case of John Mast, as well, so many others. It's the women don't pull the trigger directly. They usually get someone to do it. And yeah, the whole it's at a police station. That just I can't remember who the gentleman was. I think he was like the leader of the center of these type of centers or something nationally. I think you had interviewed him at one point, but he had stated that police stations are the absolute worst place to do this. We're just increasing conflict.
Well, and it also just kind of it creates the wrong scenario too, that mom and dad are having to exchange me at a police station, which I understand. If this is the situation, they got to do something. But guys, if you look in these cases and you see where the high conflict is coming from, unfortunately, many times the high conflict parent is the one that has custody of the child. And you're making this guy go to somebody who has this in their heart. And this is what happens. This is the problem with the family courts right now. Mm-hmm. The one that pains me the most, though, is nobody listens to these guys and what they're going through until they're dead.
After, yeah.
There's nothing you can do at that point in time. All we can do is try to give some comfort to the family, say we don't want it to happen again. Let's go get legislation. Let's go. I hear the same things each and every single time. Right. We could be doing something way before this happens, and I think in a perfect world right now, if they can have all this Title 4D money and stuff that's going out, why can't we have safe custody exchange centers where mom and dad are not coming in contact with each other at all? I also believe that school limits that proximity too.
Yeah.
Let them pick them up from school, man. I
mean, that was the one that actually I had when I had equal shared custody. I'm one of the 5% or less than 5% in Texas anyway that had that. We had a 223 RAP plan, and every exchange occurred at the school. I would drop them off in the morning. She would pick them up in the afternoon, or vice versa. And that limited our contact. And then we, anytime we had communication, it was always interesting. But I would keep it, through email, or email give me time to respond to it and calmly gray rock it and reduce the conflict that way. But yeah, going to the police station, showing up with a new main squeeze, all that does is increase conflict, and unfortunately the consequences are deadly more and more. It is what's happening. And it's just, if our legislators actually cared, they would, to address the problem, they would actually do something about it versus increasing Title 4D or more of this or more of that.
Absolutely, man. And you know what? I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that it's not happening on the other side as well. There's moms that are being shot.
Yeah.
Usually it's going to be by the guy that does that. Mom usually has either a family member, a new boyfriend, or somebody where this happens. But we're going to take a look at another segment that I got on here. And this is in one of the cases where this happened to a mother. Let's watch.
Good evening. Even police were stunned by this crime, and here's why. It literally took place on their doorstep. Police made the arrest at about 9:30 or so about 90 minutes ago. And we have video we want to show you of that scene. This is where police say he was found, the 4400 block of 134th Street. Sheriff's detectives are also working the case and say at about 6 o'clock, the suspect dropped off his 17-month-old in the lobby of the police department, got a shotgun from his car, and gunned down his ex as she walked in to pick up their toddler. SWAT teams break down doors and move through Hawthorne Boulevard, hunting the man who allegedly did this. Gunned down his ex at the entrance to the Hawthorne Police Department during a custody exchange, the very place that was supposed to be safe.
The officer that was involved in this incident from the Hawthorne Police Department was in the station doing his regular duties and heard what he believed were gunshots. He went out to the front lobby, exited the front door, saw that somebody had been shot and killed directly outside the front door to our station. And that person's family members and friends pointing out a vehicle that was leaving the parking lot.
Police say the officer shot at the suspect as he drove away. Short while later at Hawthorne Boulevard and 133rd, officers found the suspect Chevy Avalanche near this Denny's, but no sign of him.
Basically, we were just going to the Dollar Tree just because, and then we saw at least 20 or 30 cop cars just straight blast by.
A massive response and massive perimeter. Officers from neighboring cities pouring in to help. Police determined to catch the killer of the woman they couldn't protect.
I've 30 years on the department. I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, typically a police station is a safe place for people to make a child exchange, and I would still recommend that people do that.
I'm just going to go ahead and stop it right there. I mean, here you got this lieutenant. I've never seen this happen, but it just happened, and I would still tell you it's a safe place for it to happen. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it goes to show you that the conflict coming over from family court in these custody exchanges is getting higher and higher. This is not a one-off incident, and this is what pains me about the media not getting involved. I can go to any state in the country right now, and I can find you several of these stories to win. Several
out there.
Several of them that are happening at the police stations. The system is increasing the conflict. This is not tinfoil hat stuff here, guys. I want you to look at it. The reason that you don't know why it's such a big problem is because it hasn't been reported on as a whole. And we're doing everything we can to get that word out. Obviously, we're limited from the numbers that they're allowing us to have right here on a page of almost 750,000 people. But we're going to need help making sure that people know what's going on. And I'll be honest with you, dude, we went to the legislation, told them about this, and the fact that this is going on in these cities and these states in our country, and nobody is trying to do anything about it or address it without having somebody having to come and beg them, really puts a chip on my shoulder, dude.
Yeah, it lets you know where they're, where their hearts are, and that's the pocketbook. I mean, I see why this is happening more and more, because as our laws are changing more and more against men. I mean, we of course have the retroactive child support coming up. We've got various bills being implemented that are going to just destroy families. There's no other way to say that. You're going to see more of this. I mean, when what Sean on the previous show was talking about, he talked about what happens in your typical TRO or PFA or, alleged abuse thing is they have two sheriffs escort you from the house that you bought and paid for. They take you away from your children, make you stay at a hotel. Your entire world's turned upside down. The allegations are coming. You can see people cracking. I mean, if the ordinary person was faced with the destruction of what they believe, I mean, most men, our goals in life are to be good fathers, good family members, the patriarchal lead of the family, have that nuclear family. and live their life with the white picket fence, and it all gets destroyed and removed from them by the person that's supposedly loved them, using the state that's incentivized to do so. We can't be shocked that this isn't happening, or this is happening more and more. We just can't be surprised by this.
And I'm not going to lie to you again, dude. It's happening to moms as well. It's just as sickening as when it happens on either side. We got to call it right down the middle. But the system has really stirred up this chaos. But there is also a narrative out there. You want me to tell you what I think is a lot to do with it as well? Is that guy right there?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
that guy right there thinks that he is protecting somebody from something, not realizing that he is a pawn that's being used to take out a baby's father out of jealousy, thinking that he's protecting, not realizing he's being duped. I'm about to go to jail for the rest of my life, and there was no calls for it. And now this child is not going to have their dad. This woman that I thought I wanted to be with got away scotch-free. Okay, gets
cash and prizes.
And guess what? You're going to be sitting in jail while she's with another man, forgotten about you, buddy. I mean,
her
these
kids
guys
daddy.
aren't even thinking about that, Dwayne.
Yeah. They're putting profits ahead of families. That they know about this. They know about the data, the statistics that are out there on it. But for whatever reason, for money, they don't care. They're okay with doing it. And it's going to keep happening more and more and more.
It is. And do you think these cases where Mighty Mouse is present, do you think that they're allowing conjugals inside of the prison?
No, they're not. And on the topic of the Mighty Mouse, I mean, with Sean's case, I found out about it recently. I know you've been more involved, but I went ahead and did a Google search for his name and started looking at, and everyone reported was that he physically abused and he did this and there were so many Mighty Mouses all over the internet that were just dogging on the guy. And there was absolutely, I found the court documents that showed that none of this happened. It was complete false allegations. It was expunged from his record. The mother didn't object while they were in that. The courts found it was patently false. There was no news organization that reported any of that. And people still believe and are still saying that Sean Parnell is guilty of all these things. He was, he was tried once and exonerated, and then the family courts retried him and won, unfortunately. And now the world believes that he's guilty.
All you need is an allegation, dude. I'll tell you. Look, I'm a loyal guy. If I got a friend out there, I'll take up for him tooth and nail. I don't care if the whole world is standing against him. I tell you another one I watched go down like this. Kim Klacik, when Candace Owens went after her and we sat out there and made all these allegations about money and stuff going on. They didn't find anything.
Yeah.
They didn't find anything. But if you go on Kim's page now, almost every comment, somebody would be throwing off on her about this allegation that's going on. Same thing with Teddy Daniels. The same thing with Sean Parnell. Once they go through these allegations, that is the front page when you search their name on Google. Imagine what that's got to be like for these people's kids when they go to look up their own parent, and this is what's going on. Their friends are saying, your
Sean
mom or
talked
your
about
dad
it.
did this. Yeah, dude. It's crazy. It's so crazy, man. But getting back to these custody exchange murders, man, I feel like we're on the front lines of this because it's not a issue that has gotten like mass attention or grassroots activists that are going behind it and trying to change it. It really feels like we're giving birth to a completely new issue and saying, hey, we need something going on over here. We already know the challenges behind equal shared parenting and false allegations and these other things. Custody exchange murders is going to be another one. And in the meantime, when we got the guys that show up to my page or that's in my messages saying, I feel like I am the next John Mast, I don't know what to say, Dwayne. The only thing, what pains me is the one thing that'll be used against them the most. If you think that that's what's going to happen, in your heart that something like that is going to happen, I would say not show up.
Yeah.
But if you do that, you're going to lose custody of your kid. The system makes you go and will not listen to what you've got to say until you're a tombstone. And then it doesn't matter anymore for you. It doesn't matter for your kid. You're not just failing the fathers. You are failing these children. Okay. Then I actually had a guy that said he would like to sponsor bulletproof vests for some of the guys. You know what that was like? I should be getting sponsors for a Dollar Shave Club or something like that. Not, hey, your guys
How to
might
look handsome,
be
you
the
know?
best. Well, dude, again, Tyrone Darling shot in the face.
Yeah.
Would have done him no good. What are the solutions behind this? I mean, even the one of creating a custody exchange center where mom and dad doesn't come in contact with each other.
Right.
Is that a perfect plan? If somebody's got that in their heart, that's what they want to do. It doesn't matter if you pick them up at school or a custody exchange center, they'll find you.
We had one here in Texas where this happened at one of our schools just yesterday, where there was a parental issue and they put the school on lockdown. So, I mean, it can happen anywhere, but our courts are creating the conflict. They're doing it for profit and other reasons. And this is going to continue.
I don't know how any legislator, anybody could sit back knowing that part of their money, their retirement, their bonuses is coming from stuff like this. It's got to be the most sickening blood money on the face of this earth. But dude, there is people that they just don't care. As long as they're getting money, they're getting money. And I don't understand it. I'm getting the older I get, I hate money, dude. I really do.
Yeah.
I hate money. I see the evil behind it. We had Brett Kissel on the other day talking about what it was like, in the will, if one of his grandparents passes, what's going to go to who. And then the way that the families clash over this money. It's the same thing. I feel like this movement, a lot of the organizations clash. This one's going to get donations and this one isn't. It's always about money,
right?
Especially with the courts. You can't take that crap with you when you die, guys.
No, you
can't.
can't.
And it could be later on today. You could be a billionaire. If you died later on today, what good did that $1 billion do you? It can buy you a nice tombstone, but you could get out here and try to do something with your life that could change the world for the future generation. And let me tell you something, that will live on after you die. It did Martin Luther King.
Yeah, there was it wasn't Queen Elizabeth, but there was a famous quote that she had said that all of her possessions for another moment in time. And I wish I could remember who said it because she was a very important lady. And that's what it boils down to. You can't take this with you. I'm 50. I'm, starting to enter and be concerned about those things. And, listening to Brett's story, I was triggered, even though, there's difference there. I had my, experiences and, I say we should do a show talking to dads, and this is universal, but talking to them about the necessity for getting a will, to getting directives, and understanding what is going to happen to your family once the patriarch, and it's usually the patriarch, once that patriarch passes away, what you will experience, and just prepare the listeners to what they're going to experience.
I think that's going to be tomorrow's show. Guys, will you join us on that? It is an important conversation. Do me a favor, anybody that's following this, and when we're talking about these custody exchange murders, you'd like to see some progress being made, check out the John Mass Foundation.
Yes.
That's what they're trying to do. Go to johnmassfoundation.org. You can contribute there. They've got resources. They're really wanting to fight behind these issues. It is very limited in what they can do right now, unfortunately. Right. And please don't forget about that GoFundMe that I got up for John as well. We're very limited into what we can do, but that doesn't mean we give up. These situations are going to be happening more and more. Yeah. And if we can get on the front end of it and start working towards it, maybe. I mean, if we can't get compassion behind parents and kids losing their lives, because I've seen some of these custody exchange murders where the stray bullets have gotten the kids, dude.
Usually who ends up getting hit is the children. I mean, these custody exchange and normal gunfights, it's not like, California movies. Usually the children or innocent bystanders are the ones that are struck down.
But yeah, guys, shows are going to be a little short this week. I'm out of town. At this point in time, I'll be out in Colorado shooting some movies for you guys. We're going to try to get out different ways that we can get out this message for the people on the outside that might not currently understand what we're going through. We are hard at work on that. So we're going to have some shorter episodes for the next couple of weeks, but we will be back tomorrow. And we're going to talk about that with the will, because I know many families that have went through that. And I think it's an important conversation. What does that go into family law? Dude, there's much more that goes on in the world than just family law, but that is connected too. Don't kid yourself.
It dovetails into family law.
It all does. Everything.
Yes.
Does. Everything does. But it's about opening up these conversations and trying to have these ones so that we can change the world. So until the end, Dwayne,
Got to remember
Let's
one
do it
last
again
thing.
tomorrow. Oh,
Be
yeah.
sure to like, share,
Like, share,
subscribe.
Yes, and ding the bell. Ring it.
Yes.
You know, like how if you're in a Shoney's or you're in one of those restaurants, Arby's even, they got the bell when you're leaving. If you got good service, ring that bell. If you got good service, ring that bell. Let Dad Talk Today know that
Yeah.
you care. Show up again tomorrow because we're not doing this for the fun of it, man. It's about changing the world. And the more that we have you guys here and aware and ready to do something, we'll have people every day. Like, when are we going to stop talking about it? When are we going to do something about it? This is what we're doing about it. We're asking the same damn thing out of you. What are you going to do about it? Get out of the comments. Let's get out there and make sure that we're organizing and tackle this issue.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Eric Carroll. I got Mr. Ward here, and I'm waiting for him to start his challenge. We got a really cool challenge. You guys
Oh,
doing.
yeah.
I can't give away too much on that right now, but we'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you then, Dwayne.
See ya.
Hey everybody, Eric Carroll here. Thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of Dad Talk Today. While we fight for you, we would ask for you to please help fight for us. Like, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell so you get notifications every time we go live. There's also Super Chats, patreon.com/Dad Talk Today, and other ways you can support our channel. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next time.